Welcome back, guys, to Dabble the Reaction. This afternoon we are going to be reacting to the history of the Philippines explained in 8 minutes. Just to remind you, we are new around here. We have come over from our travel channel as a thank you, and we have, what would you say, vamped up the reaction channel that we started in January.
We've sort of remixed it, so we've decided not to just stick to reactions. At the moment we obviously are, but we have so many plans to do. Cooking, we want to do talking about news channels, we want to have guests on the show, we want to make things a little bit different around here. So I'm really excited to start.
Very excited. So we need recommendations for food, for things to talk about, games to play, languages to learn, the lot. But for today we're going to learn a little bit more about the Philippines. So the history of the Philippines explained in 8 minutes. It's quite quick to learn everything about the Philippines.
I don't really know how they're going to start it. We know quite a lot of history. We've done a few tours in Manila where we've done a lot of history.
So we might learn something new here. It might be something we already know.
Are you
let's
ready?
see. Yes, I'm doing the clip this time. Ready?
Go.
Consists of over 7,000 islands, inhabited by over 100 million people. The archipelago has, for thousands of years, been the natural melting pot of Asia. Through the ages, immigrants and adventurers from all over East Asia and as far afield as India and the Middle East have all found their way to the Philippines.
Makes sense.
Shaped by the geography, the earliest cultures to form in the Philippines
sort of in the middle, isn't it, of everything?
Small bands of independent and skilled seafarers. Between approximately 2,000 and 1,500 years ago,
seafarer, aren't they?
many mountains and hills were transformed into terraced
We learnt something yesterday about the writers. If they were to be like this, they would be around half the centre of the world, right?
Crazy, there's that many.
The rainforests above the terraces. And it is said that the steppes, put end to end, would encircle half the globe. The Sahuin culture is one of the best early examples of recent trade, cultural ties, and possibly immigration in the Philippine archipelago. Objects made from gold,
Vietnam.
weapons, tools, and mirrors were imported from the mainland. Throughout this cultural region, similar art and jewelry was crafted, and the cremation of the dead was ubiquitous. The Sahuin culture is thought to be the predecessors of the Cham people of Vietnam, who formed a venerable kingdom.
Interesting.
From the period approximately from 300 AD to 1000, large numbers of Malays migrating from, and possibly fleeing, the rapidly expanding Srivijaya Empire began to populate the Philippines. During this period, the aboriginal Melanesian populations of the archipelago moved further inland, to the highlands and jungles, where they still exist today.
So
or
the successive
further, like Sagada,
who brought two Indian religions, Buddhism and Hinduism, to the archipelago. Society became stratified.
You don't see either of them.
Groups of 100 families or more.
It's churches.
Barangays, each led by a headman, or datu. Several datus were led by
That's crazy, they still keep the word barangay today.
Called a bayan. These kingdoms became extremely wealthy and had trade relations with the entire eastern world.
And there's still one person that heads the barangay.
Among these seems to have been the cosmopolitan city-state and trading hub of Tondo, located on the island of Luzon. The earliest written record discovered in the Philippines, the Laguna copperplate inscription, mentions the state of Tondo and is written in a script combining elements of Sanskrit, Old Javanese, Malay, and Tagalog. The barangays of Tondo were led by a Lakan instead of a Raja, and were democratically selected from among the datus of each barangay. Tondo expanded to control much of the island of Luzon, forming alliances and striking trade bargains to expand their territory, just as often as through warfare.
Is that person a Filipino?
Formed from several
I think so. This is really good.
In the highlands
this is in depth.
Yeah, isn't it?
The longest lasting state in the Philippines.
Having to concentrate.
This self-sufficient, landlocked state lasted for over 1,000 years and was ruled over by...
So they were disconnected from the rest of the Philippines.
So just Luzon.
Oh my god, I never knew that.
Including Lai, who held diplomatic relations with Song Dynasty China, until Tondo secured a monopoly on trade with China.
I swear it's still called that.
This hit Mai is
was originally
Mindoro.
The Srivijayan Empire. They would wage war on the Chinese Imperial Navy and raided the southern Chinese coast. They also were Tondo's most significant
trying to take over?
What were they trying to take over China?
Here, the longest and oldest surviving epic poem from the region was composed, recounting the deeds of an ancient hero. The Rajanate of Cebu was founded by a minor prince of the southern Indian Chola
Cebu was founded then?
It occupied the island of Sumatra far to the south.
So someone
he was
from
set to establish
India.
an expeditionary base Instead, he rebelled and carved out an independent Rajanate for himself. The Rajanate of Bhutan was known for its mining of gold, its gold products, and extensive trade networks, reaching the civilizations of
This is really
This is
intense.
proper history.
I thought they were going to go like 100 years
Facts and that,
maybe.
yeah.
During this period, large gold deposits were discovered throughout the Philippines, and gold ingots and bracelets of different sizes were commonly used as currency throughout the region. The kingdom
crazy.
of Kabalawan was a Ming
I think we're
dynasty
getting later though.
Definitely. We're getting close to today.
Not quite. 500
early
years to go.
1400s,
Close
the
enough.
Sunni Islamic Bruneian Empire began to expand into the Philippine archipelago, and
Really?
around the year 1500, established the semi-independent Rajanate of Manila as a competitor to Tondo's maritime
Manila?
dominance in the region.
It's crazy.
Built
It's a
directly
Brunei tried
across
to take
Tondo,
over.
opposite banks of the Pasig River Delta. Manila would gradually supplant Tondo, which fell under increasing Bruneian influence. The Sultanate
No
of
way.
Maguindanao formed in the south, ruled over by a
That's where
hereditary
you've-
line of
Mindanao.
sultans,
Yeah.
and maintained very favorable relations with the Dutch and English for over 3 centuries,
No
until finally
way.
falling to the Spaniards in the 19th century.
That
In
makes sense.
1521, a Spanish expedition that would go on to be the first to circumnavigate the planet reached the Philippines. It was led by the Portuguese, Fernão de Magalhães. The Raja of Cebu declared allegiance to the Spanish crown and converted to Catholicism. The
That guy
nearby
was on a
small island of
Christian
Mactan
yesterday.
was not
Yeah.
as amicable and
I've
killed
seen this
Fernão
guy.
as they disembarked with a small attack
On the
force
telly.
on the island. The Spaniards left but would return quickly, sending 5 subsequent expeditions.
This is the sort of
Whoa.
things that
And
we
in
learn
1543,
in
Roy
the tour
Lopez
we
de
did in
When we
Manila.
went to Intramuros.
Yes.
named the islands Las Filipinas after
Las
Philip II of
Filipinas.
Spain.
Good.
During the conquest of Manila, much of the city was burnt to the ground,
Oh.
and the Spanish settlement of Manila was founded there as the capital of the Spanish East Indies. In 1578,
Makes sense.
the Sulu Sultanate, a longtime vassal of the declining Empire of Brunei, became fully independent.
That's
and would
Palawan,
become a
no?
longtime
The
foe
bottom
the
part of
Spanish.
Palawan, yeah.
The Sultanate of Sulu became notorious for the so-called Moro raids. pillaging
There
and
was
taking
so
in
much
slaves.
conflict,
The
like
Spanish
so
would
much
burn down
conflict
their
from
city several times,
from
only
like
to have new bases of operations.
Early on.
from like 2,000 years ago up till
By the
the
mid-1600s,
19th century.
Manila was a bustling port city.
Oh, wow.
As galleons crisscrossed the Pacific Ocean, leaving from Acapulco in modern-day Mexico,
Come on, built up it
filled with
was.
silver, mined there and in Potosi, and returning from Manila, filled with luxury goods.
That
such
wasn't
as
that long
porcelain,
ago
silk,
because it
and
went up to
spices.
1900s.
Spanish
200 years
territory
ago.
slowly
You
expanded.
don't
Oh,
do
yeah.
skyscraper.
Defeating a series of
120
Dutch
years
attempts to
ago.
seize Manila. The British did seize it for a short while during the 7 Years' War, only to return it after the war had ended, and the treaty stipulated that they do so. Over the centuries of Spanish rule, Spanish became the primary
This is
language
crazy.
used in the
It's so
Philippines.
confusing. All
Many
the
of the
history.
regional
Just
dialects
goes back
and
and
scripts
forth, doesn't it?
completely disappeared over time. Following
Now
the
it becomes all
Spanish-American
Spanish.
War
Yeah.
and period of U.S.
This is what we were
military
talking
Uh-huh.
rule, the
about.
Philippines became an American territory.
You know about
And in
that.
1935 became an American Commonwealth. During the brutal Japanese occupation of the Philippines in the Second World War, 500,000 to 1 million Filipino civilians were killed.
That's so
In
bad.
1943, the Japanese set up a short
Such a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
After the war, the Philippines returned to being an American Commonwealth. And in 1946, a Philippine Republic was established, which was
Independence Day.
replaced
Well,
by the
hey.
dictatorship of Ferdinand Marcos, who ruled as a dictator under martial law from 1972 until 1981, and held the position of
So this would have been a lot of people's like grandparents. He would have been
His
in charge.
regime
Was he?
infamous
What did
for its
people think of
corruption,
him?
extravagance,
Comment
and
below.
brutality. Eventually, public outrage boiled over,
Don't
and in
know
a
how
snap
people were happy with
election,
him.
he was removed from power and fled to Hawaii. He was replaced by Maria Corazon Aquino, the wife of a murdered opposition leader.
Is that
who
not the
returned to
airport?
face
Nino
Marcos.
Aquino?
She has been
Is it
followed
named
by
after her?
5
Did she
more
create
Philippine
it?
presidents. And that was a lightning fast overview.
Yeah, because then you
of
got
Philippine
Benigo,
history.
Aquino,
And
then
this has been
Duterte.
Epimetheus. I hope you enjoyed it.
Wow.
That was intense. Is the best way to say it. There was so much history in a short period of time.
It should have been longer because
Yeah.
it was so like.
We went through like 2,000 years in 8 minutes. And it was like the Chinese came here, then the Vietnamese, then Brunei.
Then Spanish, then Spanish, then
Then the
Spanish, then the British.
That was crazy. I understood some of it. I think I need a more in-depth explanation to understand more. But yeah, comment below if you like knew a lot of them facts, because some of them were crazy. Like I didn't know a lot of that. Like Vietnamese were like very early settlers, so I presume there's quite a strong, if you were to trace back a Vietnamese heritage.
Yeah, it's quite a strong
I don't know.
influence, I would have thought.
Yeah,
Influence.
when I don't know. There's so many different. Because sometimes you think Polynesian.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Philippines has a bit of everything, but
all into one.
they have the independence.
Exactly.
In 1946, was it?
1946.
Relatively recent, I suppose
Just
you could
after the
say.
war.
Yeah.
Just after the war, and that what the Japanese did in the war was terrible. 500,000 to 1 million Filipinos were killed,
That's a huge
which is
amount
horrible.
of people.
And it sort of doesn't get spoken about enough, I suppose.
No.
Not really. You don't hear that much about it.
We did learn about the Japanese shipwrecks in
Coron.
Coron.
Which is interesting.
They did mention a lot about it then, but yeah, I suppose
That's crazy.
you don't really get told it. I enjoy things like this when they're short history. History's not my favourite subject. Short history is much better.
Mind blown. But yeah, comment below if you want more history or anything else. What to cook. I'm not going to repeat it, but anything to cook, I'm going to repeat it. Anything
Yeah, you
to
are.
cook, anything to talk about, anything to react to, anything
Any
to
games.
eat, any games, any languages to learn. Comment below and we'll do it. So if you're new around here, which you probably are, make sure you hit that subscribe, drop us a like.
And keep on dabbling.